On the news tonight, FG raises alarm over violence against people with disabilities. FG to demolish airport facilities worth $300 million for expansion. Politicians already buying positions ahead of 10th and Assembly. One injured as PDP APC supporters clashed in Rivers. And on sports, Osimhen would have struggled against AC Milan, Sachi. Now the news in detail. The federal government of Nigeria has disclosed that there is a high rate of violence against women, children, and persons with disabilities in the country. The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallen, raised this alarm during the launch of a research report on decent work for persons with disabilities in Abuja. Tallen said persons with disabilities globally have experienced extensive violations of their fundamental human rights. She stressed that the available statistics show that the unemployment rate is higher among persons with disabilities, with 2 or 3 times as many disabled workers being affected compared to their non-disabled counterparts. To the next story. The federal government of Nigeria has expressed its intention to demolish 2 private hangars at the newly built Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos to pave the way for expansion of the apron of the terminal. The airport facilities, which were built with $100 million has been largely deserted and underutilized due to design flaws that make it unsuitable for wide-body aircraft that are common in international operations. Minister of Aviation, Senator Adi Sirika, announced the demolition plan, noting that the Dominion and Evergreen Apple hangars and offices would have to give way for the airport to be more efficient. The 2 hangars to be demolished are owned by Bishop David Oyedepo, founder of the Living Faith Church Worldwide and former Director General of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, Dr. Harold Dameron. To the next story. The lawmaker representing Borno South Senatorial District, Ali Undume, has claimed that politicians have already started buying political positions ahead of the inauguration of the 10th Assembly. Ndume made this claim while speaking in an interview on Channels TV. Ndume said there should be unexplained wealth act so that if you display wealth that is not in tandem with your income, you should be investigated and the wealth confiscated, and if it is extensive, you should be prosecuted. Now you can see what is happening. They are trying to buy the position. The position in the leadership of this country is becoming those that belong to kleptocrat and plutocrat. Democracy is no longer there. Going on to River State. One person sustained a gunshot injury after being hit by a stray bullet when supporters of the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressive Congress clashed in Port Harcourt on Monday. Earlier, some members of the PDP protested in front of the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission along Aba Road in Port Harcourt. The protesters demanded a joint inspection of election materials by all political parties. The APC, led by its governorship candidates, Tøùgh Cole, had last Friday said it would storm the INEC office on Monday to demand the release of certified true copies of documents used for the March 18 governorship election to enable the party file processes at the Election Petition Tribunal. Moving on to the next story. Professor Wole Soyinka, a Nobel laureate, has predicted that Nigerians would continue to call for a restructuring after the new administration takes office on May 29. In the most populous country in Africa, proposals for reform have repeatedly been made in order to bring the administration closer to the grassroots. Soyinka stated that the government of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu must renew its focus on the persistent calls for restructuring the Nigerian Federation in order to avoid serious difficulties with its programs and policies during an interview on Roadmap 2023, a Channels television program that highlights election issues and track personalities. Going on to the next story from Kaduna. A 24-hour curfew has been imposed on Sabongari, Nasarawa, Turkania area of the Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. Mr. Samuel Arunwa, the state commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, in a statement he issued, explained that the decision was reached following a breakdown of law and order, which led to the killing of 2 citizens in an incident of urban gang violation. He said security agencies are being directed to enforce a curfew in the said location to restore order as investigations proceed. Moving on to the next story. Habib Okikiola, the controversial singer popularly known as Portable, on Monday appeared before an Ogun State Magistrate Court sitting in Ifo. Portable was detained at the police headquarters on Friday after ignoring many invites. When he appeared before the court on Monday, Portable pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. Part of the charges read that you, Badmus Habib Okikiola, aka Portable, and others now at large on the 28th day of March 2023 at Odogu Bar or Kiosa, Ilogo, Ifo, in the Ifo Magistrate District, did willfully cause or inflict physical injury on one Inspector Ahmed Moshood with your elbow on his nose, which caused blood to gush out from his nose and thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 4(1) of the Violence Against Persons and Prohibition Laws of Ogun State of Nigeria 2017. From that story, we will go to the next story, coming from Lagos. The Lagos High Court sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos Island has dismissed a no-case submission filed by the suspended Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP, Drambin Vandi, who allegedly killed a Lagos-based lawyer, Omobolale Rahim, on December 25, 2022. Justice Ibironke Harrison ordered the defendant to open his defense as a prima facie has been made against him. In his application on the no-case submission, Vandi had asked the court to dismiss the suit and discharge him, claiming that he has no case to answer. In his argument, his defense counsel, Adetokunbo Odutola, told the court to note among other things that none of the eyewitnesses saw the defendant shoot and that a ballistic report of the gun allegedly fired expressly stated that the bullet cannot be linked with any of the firearms recovered from the police officers at the scene. Going on to the foreign story. China yesterday alleged fears of the transparency of terms of its loans to Africa. The Asian nation said all loans are done within international rules. It was responding to the claim by World Bank President David Malpass, who expressed concern about some of the loans China has been lending developing economies in Africa. Malpass, who spoke with BBC, said the terms and conditions need to be more transparent. It comes amid worries that countries, including Ghana and Zambia, are struggling to repay their debt to Beijing. Beijing has become one of the biggest sources for loans to developing economies in recent years. A new study led by the Kiel Institute for the World Economy shows that globally, China lent $185 billion US, 150 billion euros in bailout to 22 countries between 2016 and 2021. Finally, on sports. Former Italy manager Arrigo Sacchi claimed that even Victor Osimhen would have struggled in what he described as a soft performance from Napoli in the 4-0 defeat to AC Milan. Osimhen missed the game due to a muscle injury he sustained on international duty. Rafael Leao, Brais, Brahim Diaz, and Alex Saelmakers were on target for AC Milan in the game. Napoli lost because they lost those principles and values which, until now, had amazed everyone. Meanwhile, Milan showed that a team, when it works, is always a winner, Sacchi wrote in his column for La Gazzetta dello Sport. That ends the World News this hour from BGI TV Currents. Before we go, some major headlines. FG raises alarm over violence against people with disabilities. Still from the FG, to demolish airport facilities worth $300 million US for expansion. Politicians already buying position ahead of the 10th National Assembly. We also brought to you one injured in PDP-APC clash in Rivers. And on sport, Osimhen would have struggled against AC Milan, Sacchi said. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, the handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, Please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Good evening.
Oh, na na na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.